The silence inside the business-class cabin was deafening. 7-year-old Naomi Richardson lay curled on the polished airplane floor, clutching her stomach, her white blouse marked with a red shoe-shaped stain. Standing above her was Margaret Whitmore, a wealthy 50-something woman in a Chanel suit, holding a champagne flute with an expression of cold superiority. Around them, 30 stunned passengers sat frozen, phones raised, recording everything. Beside Naomi, her mother, Dr. Celeste Richardson, knelt with trembling hands, checking her daughter for injuries. Celeste was one of the nation's leading neurosurgeons, but at this moment she was just a terrified mother. Yet when her eyes met Margaret's, they did not hold the rage or fear everyone expected. They held something far more powerful. To understand how this moment happened, we must go back 3 hours earlier. At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Dr. Celeste guided Naomi through the business class check-in line. Celeste had just completed a 14-hour brain surgery, removing a tumor 3 other surgeons called impossible. Her hands still trembled from fatigue, but her face remained calm. Naomi held her worn copy of Hidden Figures, chatting excitedly about Katherine Johnson and her dream of becoming an aerospace engineer. Her brilliance was obvious. She had just won a school mathematics competition, solving problems meant for older students. Behind them in line stood Margaret Whitmore, shifting her designer bag with irritation. When Celeste stepped to the check-in counter, Margaret cut in sharply. "Excuse me, you're in the wrong line. Economy is over there." The agent, Kevin Chun, smiled politely. "Actually, ma'am, Dr. Richardson and her daughter are confirmed in business class. Seats 2A and 2B. Margaret's eyebrow arched sharply. Her voice fell to a cold whisper. "Oh, I see." As Celeste and Naomi walked away, Margaret's voice carried behind them. Affirmative action is everywhere these days. Naomi tugged her mother's arm. "Mommy, what does that mean?" Celeste knelt and spoke softly. "We'll talk about it later. It's nothing for you to worry about." Inside the VIP lounge, the tension followed them. Naomi tried to pour herself a glass of orange juice, but the heavy pitcher slipped slightly, splashing a few drops on the counter. None of it touched Margaret, yet she stood abruptly. This is exactly why some people do not belong in first class. No manners. No class. A nearby businessman defended the child, but Margaret dismissed him. Celeste guided Naomi back to their seats, whispering gently. Some people carry pain inside them. It comes out in hurtful ways. It's not about you. When boarding began, Naomi stayed close to her mother. Their seats were directly behind Margaret in the gleaming business class cabin. The flight attendant, Dana Martinez, greeted them warmly, praising Naomi's dream of working for NASA. But Margaret snapped her fingers at Dana, demanding to be moved because she didn't want to sit near a child. Dana reminded her the flight was full. As the flight took off, the tension filled the air like static. 40 minutes later, during mild turbulence, Naomi stood up to adjust her seatbelt. The plane jolted, and she accidentally brushed Margaret's heel. That tiny touch was all it took. Margaret spun around, rage distorting her face. She lifted her leg and kicked. Hard. Naomi fell to the floor with a cry. Gasps erupted. Passengers lifted their phones instantly. Dana rushed forward, but stopped when she saw Celeste drop to the floor beside her daughter. Naomi whimpered, clutching her side. Celeste checked her carefully, her hands shaking but steady. Then she slowly rose, facing Margaret. Everyone expected shouting, threats, or even violence. But Celeste's voice was calm, heartbreakingly calm. "I don't know what hurt you so deeply that you think hurting a child gives you power," she said, "but this ends today." Margaret opened her mouth to fire back, but Celeste gently raised her hand. "No anger, no hate, just truth." She turned to the passengers, filming. Nobody becomes better through shame. People change when someone shows them who they really are and who they could be. Then she looked directly at Margaret. "You don't have to be this version of yourself." The cabin fell silent. For a moment, Margaret's mask cracked. Her eyes flickered with something. Regret, fear, or maybe the recognition of who she had become. For the first time, she looked at Naomi with genuine emotion. Her voice trembled. I'm sorry. Passengers lowered their phones. Dana knelt beside Naomi, checking her gently. Celeste held her daughter close. The video of that moment, of a mother choosing compassion over fury, spread across the internet within hours. Not because a bigot was caught on camera, but because a bigot was changed. Because a doctor who healed brains also healed a heart. And because sometimes the bravest act is refusing to return hate for hate. It was a reminder to millions that compassion is not weakness. It is the force that changes the world.